Alright, now time to talk about the losers. First and foremost, first loser, the biggest loser of the week. Pointing out to you, Alpha Lam Lam. Well, the Lam Lams had a bad year last year. And they were, after drafting, did you draft Tebow? I think you drafted Tebow 2 years in a row. I don't remember, but Lam Lam had an auto draft this year, and it's not looking too pretty. Sometimes auto draft does a good job for you, but let's take a look. I don't know. This could be a fluke. Let's get into the nitty gritty of this 79-point embarrassment. All right. The Lam Lam lost to Mary Jean. Okay. Who didn't overwhelm. Put up a 97 points, but the Lam Lam started RG3 has Griffin, Eddie Lacy, who got hurt, so you give him a pass on that. Um, the Washington just got barreled over by the Houston defense, so maybe that's not gonna. Maybe that'll change. Maybe Griffin, is gonna put up the numbers he's supposed to put up. Arian Foster, who was out all last year, is back. Let's see how he does. That's kind of like a question mark. You see how that falls, into his auto draft. Alshon Jeffrey, who's a good wide receiver for the Bears. I think he's gonna have a good year. Torrey Smith is kind of like doesn't not so great. Torrey Smith, Baltimore wide receiver, only put up 6 points. Dwayne Allen, tight end, did good, got a touchdown. Okay, gave him 14 points. Giovanni Bernard gave him 14 points. Bernard, I think is gonna have a good year. I think Bernard is the real deal. Nick Folk, the Jets D, Rams D, only gave 2 points. Got destroyed by Minnesota. On the bench, Macklin. I think Macklin is going to be a good, receiver for the Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to just basically put up numbers across the board. On the bench, 17 points right there. Steven Jackson, I think, is going to run the ball a lot. Only did 5.7. Maurice Jones-Drew, I think, is probably not going to have a good year. I think Jones-Drew is on the way out toward retirement. Only gave up 3. I know Lam Lam likes Jones-Drew from the old days. Terrence Williams, good receiver, 13 on the bench. Steve Smith for the Ravens, 22. Okay, how do you know he's going to do that? But you have weapons. It just didn't really work out. And you have a running back, Terrence West, put up 100 yards for the Browns. So it looks like Lam Lam doesn't have an awful roster. You can just adjust a little bit. Expect Griffin to bounce back to give you those points. And probably sit Lacy for the time being until he, gets cleared from his concussion woes. Okay? The next biggest loser of week 1 goes to the Rotters, who lost to me, who lost to the Yak train, the white train, the Yak machine. The Rotters, who had the number 1 overall pick, decided to go with a quarterback, went with Rodgers. Rodgers is a top scorer. However, maybe you would have lost Rodgers, yeah, especially with the number 1 pick. You probably would have had to wait all the way as it snakes to the end of the second round. So maybe you did the right thing by going with QB on there, but you could have run it out a little bit more, I think. Let's see what the Rotters. The Rotters scored only 81 points, okay, and did it with that Green Bay got kind of smacked around by a really tough defense in Seattle. That's not going to happen. Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay are going to put up their points. I would probably sit most quarterbacks or offensive players against Seattle from this point forward. So I don't expect 6 points out of Rodgers. That's got to be a fluke. Ridley, you got a running back committee in New England. When you get a committee, you never know who's going to get the load, who's going to put up the touchdown. You don't know. It's a risk. So I try to steer clear of the committee, but Ridley only gave 4 points. Darren Sproles did a good job, got in the end zone for the Rotters, 19 points. Probably the biggest highlight. Larry Fitzgerald disappointed. Fitzgerald was shut down. I think they were just put all their emphasis on Fitzgerald, and all the other receivers from Arizona did the dirty work last night. T.Y. Hilton is going to do better than this. I'm sure about it. Only 6 points. Rob Gronkowski got in the end zone. So you got Gronkowski, you got Rodgers, You know, you got Fitzgerald. These guys are going to do better. Santonio Holmes, I'm not sure. It's kind of like the third receiver in the totem pole over in Chicago. I'm not so sure like how many points you can expect from Santonio. Gostkowski, big name kicker, Seahawks defense. So, you got the points from the Seahawks defense at the expense of your quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. I don't expect you to put up only 80 points next week. Let's see who else are the rest of our losers. Let's round it out. Let's see here. We had let's see. The Grundles lost. The Plains lost. The Kraken lost. But first, I'm going to talk about the Plains. Paper Plains lost to Laces Out. Paper Plains scored 100 points, but didn't really get much out of Romo. Got a lot out of Lynch. Looked like he was going to score a lot of points because that was a Thursday game. And then it just didn't get a touchdown out of Frank Gore, Andre Johnson. You know, he put up a decent amount of points. Crabtree didn't do much. Randolph didn't do much. Fred Jackson didn't do much. Bengals D did a lot, 15. Blair Walsh, he got a lot of field goals from his kicker. So, I don't know. Paper Plains admitted he doesn't really like his team. Well, I think you got to work on the waiver wire as a result. Let's see what else we got here. So, next up was the Kraken. The Kraken only scored a tenth of a point, basically 1 yard more than the Plains. Okay, and the Kraken lost to, let's take a look. Who did the Kraken lose to? The Kraken lost their matchup to Suckett Cavish, who put up 164 points. So, you know, even if the Kraken put up mega points, you know, you got basically barreled over by Julius Thomas and Calvin Johnson. Run away. The Kraken, though, didn't get any help from Nick Foles. Let's see how Nick Foles this year, you know, sophomore slump, who knows. Doug Martin only gave 2 points last night. Not last night, for Tampa. Ryan Matthews, 13 points was good. Victor Cruz dropped passes. I was watching that game. Victor Cruz was dropping passes. I don't know why. I expected him to do better. He only gave you 3 points. Kendall Wright, Jimmy Graham put up 12 points. You can expect around that, you know, maybe a little bit better. Rashard Jennings is a highlight. You have a Giants running back, and he was running the ball great. I was watching it, and he looks like he's going to provide some solid running. You got 18 points from the kicker. Broncos D is probably going to do better than 10 points. You know, Indianapolis kind of scored 24 points on them, blah, blah, blah. I think the Kraken looks to score more in the coming weeks. You should expect more from Foles, Martin. I would expect more from the Broncos D and Victor Cruz. So the Kraken doesn't look that bad, even though the Kraken was picked 12th. 12th. All right. And finally, the Adams. Let's talk about the Adams. The Adams got destroyed by Thomas, right? We know that. Thomas put up 170 points. The Adams didn't do so bad. Adams put up 104. But through a lot of, you know, I just noticed the Adams just changed their Miami Adams GIF. They have the Homer doing the little play football game on the. It's pretty funny. Anyway, Jay Cutler, he's supposed to do good. LaShawn McCoy is a good player. DeMarco Murray put up 20. All right, so DeMarco Murray had a big game. Jordy Nelson, you know, like I said, only 12 points. 12 points is good, but probably against the Seattle defense, you know, suppressed. Didn't get in the end zone. Keenan Allen against a tough Arizona D, only 6 points. Jordan Cameron got banged up, so you have to address that. Michael Floyd did good, 15 points. Bears D, kicker weak. So it doesn't look so great for the Adams. I know you were talking shit. I know you said that you could do really well. I know you said that you're going to probably win this league. Let's see. Put your money where your mouth is. Let's see how well that team does. And I'm also gunning for you. I think, week 6? See what happens. See how you do. Anyway, good luck to you all. They're your weekly losers, your week 1 losers. Losers stink. Get better. Alright? That's my advice to you.